And we're live. This is paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Welcome to the show. Tonight we have an extraordinary show. One of our regulars, Kyle Mooney, is with us tonight. We're going to interview him. He is a pilot. If you don't know, he's an acrobatics pilot with the Paradigm team at Aviator PPG. They just got done with some training there in Florida, and they've got some great stuff lined up. We have some great stuff lined up tonight. We've been waiting to talk to Kyle for some time now, and it seems like there's just been a handful of other guys getting in the way. And finally, we got to the goods. Best for last. Kyle,
I like that. We're going to go with that.
That's right. Kyle joined the team some years back. There's you can actually find some of his history on the Aviator channel. Go check that out.
Yeah.
If you want to get training, you can go through these guys. Aviator PPG. Where are you guys at? You guys are in Florida, right?
Yeah, Lake Wales, Florida. It's about an hour south of Orlando.
Okay, hour south of Orlando. So you mark that on your calendars that you want to fly. If you're in, actually, there's a few places you can fly with Aviator PPG now. You've got Nebraska.
Yep.
With Josh. You've got a new one. Was that Montana?
No, we got Nebraska. Oh, here, hang on one second before.
Yeah, I want to see what you got going on there.
I got a few friends.
Hey, can't hear any of you guys.
Oh yeah, they can't hear you.
Right.
You could stream it out there.
I feel like we should get you out of your boring white office and put you in the Aviator Lounge since no one's in there now.
Did everybody leave?
Everyone left. Everybody's gone.
Really?
Yeah, get out there, dude.
Oh, right. I go out here then. That's funny. We'll see how the light is out here, but yeah. So we're in the shop.
Nice.
But yeah, so actually we got well, I gotta hold my phone then, but that's okay. Yeah, no, we got schools everywhere. We got schools in Texas, Savannah, in Georgia, Michigan, Indiana, Nebraska, and Costa Rica.
Word! Wow, I didn't know that.
It's brighter. Georgia. Yeah, I said Georgia.
Wasn't there a new one just recently that you guys went to and talked to somebody? I want to say.
Well, we went to Michigan. The last one we visited.
Michigan. That's what it was.
Yeah, Michigan. Fly My PPG with Mike Cotter and Justin Fox.
That's it. Yep.
Yep.
That's awesome. I'm actually from Michigan originally.
Okay.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, no, it was pretty awesome to be able to go there and meet all these other people that are flying, and obviously we met them before, but to actually see their facilities and see how they train as well it's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. Well, if you guys don't know who Kyle Mooney is, Kyle flies again with the guys at Aviator. He's on the Paradigm team, so they're doing all the big shows. He is a part of the team with Tucker Gott, and I don't know many of the other guys. You guys are the two heroes of the crew. But as far as I'm concerned, you guys are doing some pretty amazing cutting edge stuff. I mean, not only are you building a brand, but you're also, flying in form. It's not everybody's doing that. So it's pretty cool stuff. I like where you guys are going with it and your training, but I want to get down to the nitty gritty of who you are. And then we'll talk a little bit about theory and stuff like that, if you're good with that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's
great. My first question, kind of typical, and just to start it off, how did you get into the sport, and where did it all start?
So, actually, I used to hate flying in terms of like airplanes and everything. And my dad was he had an ultralight, couldn't afford, not necessarily couldn't afford it. It just took a lot of time. So then we actually ended up he learned how to fly a paramotor, and I was like, that thing is stupid. Who wants to fly that? And then after that, he actually taught me how to fly, and I took my first flight, and after that I went and I bought all my gear, and after that it was just fly every day, all the time, as much as possible.
Wait, your dad is a pilot?
Yeah, my dad flies. He's been flying for about a month longer total than I had. He just doesn't fly as much, but he lives up in Minnesota right now, so he'll go flying. I don't know, once a week, twice a week, maybe, right out of the
Okay.
backyard.
Have you guys flown together?
Oh yeah, yeah. We actually flew together at Oshkosh this year. We went to the field where we all do the big flying at Oshkosh for the mass
Okay.
arrival, and we went all there and we all got to fly.
Nice, man. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
There's Mark. Amen, son. Mark, amen, son. I sent you an invite. If you didn't get it, you should have got it already. So you get into the sport, your dad's flying. You're like, you know what? I know what I want to do. I want to go join Aviator PPG. How'd that go down?
So what happened was, is I started flying and I was just doing my own thing, and then I was actually in Australia, just doing school there, and my fiance was with me. Well, she wasn't my fiance then, but she is now. And then I kept messaging Eric, going like, "Hey man, I want to buy a nitro," knowing damn well, dang well, dang it, that's one.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
That I didn't have the money to buy one. And then I just kept talking to him, and then a job actually opened up, and within about 5 minutes, I applied for that job. Came down, did an internship, and been here ever since.
And you lived up in Minnesota at the time?
So I'm originally from Minnesota, and then I moved to North Carolina, where my girlfriend and now fiance was living. So I was in North Carolina when that happened, and then I moved down here.
Got it. What does she think about it?
When I met her, she already knew I did it, and then when we were in Australia, we actually went to a fly-in, which was really cool to see, pilots across the world flying, and I met some really cool people there. And she was like, "No, you're great." Like, she'll see me doing flips and all this other stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, that's awesome, but as long as she just said, as long as you don't get hurt, I don't care."
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's Woody.
She finally agreed to a tandem.
She did?
Yeah. So one day I got to get her up there and give her a tandem.
You haven't done it yet?
No. I just got her to agree the other time.
Do you have the connection for your phone? Because you're for some reason your audio is a little jacked up.
Yeah. Here, I'll do this.
Woody just chimed in the chat. He said, "I'm doing my show, but all the viewers should know that this fiance stuff is a lie." That's horrible.
I'm gonna get him tomorrow. He's gonna be here tomorrow. I can't wait.
I'll block him right now. Here we go.
I can't see the chat because that's why my audio is going kind of whack, because I have it on my computer to see chat and then my phone to actually do video. So.
Okay. So are you sacrificing one to be able to do the other?
Yeah.
Oh,
so I can't see chat, but that's all right.
All right, I'll keep you posted in case if there's any trolling going on.
Yes, if there is, let me know. If it's Woody, you can just block him again.
Yeah, I'll just block him again.
But yeah, no, that's how it went down. I mean, she doesn't. She's not really scared about it or anything. She just. As long as I'm happy, she's happy. So I think that's how the saying goes, but I think we have it switched up right now.
When are you getting married?
October 13th of this year.
Oh, you're serious? Good man.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good, man. That's a very important step.
Yeah, we're getting married and we just bought a house. Well, working on buying a house. It should be done by the middle of September. So it's busy.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you on that. So, okay. You've been flying for how many years?
5.5, give or take.
Okay. And so your role you're teaching now. I mean, you're instructing now. I mean, how much are they giving you as far as instruction? Can you take somebody from start to finish?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we had this class that started last Saturday, and we basically go in and we have a ground school, and then we have kiting, we have motor simulator, we do towing as well, and I could take, if it was just me with 1 or 2 students, if we did that, but we do 6 students at a time. But yeah, no, I can start a student from nothing, not knowing anything, to getting them flying and getting them 15, 20 flights, and then they're good to go on their own.
That's great, man. Okay, that changes
awesome.
my questions a little bit. So you're from a training perspective, there's a little bit more pressure on there now. We were just discussing before the show started that we had Mark Amenson was helping some guys get off the ground, and there's a lot of controversy in that what it takes to be able to get in the air, and then also there's no like I don't want to say that there's no cookie cutter program to like. Each person has their own personality. They have their own speed and learning. Everybody's different. And something that, and this is just my perspective, you say whatever, but like for me, I couldn't afford it. One, to go spend a week with a training group this is just for free flight. I couldn't, I didn't have the money really to fork out in the front. So I bought an old beat up wing and I kited in the park a whole bunch and I'm all over the place. But so you're teaching guys, what's the most common thing that you're coming across that guys are coming in that's kind of a bad habit, something that could potentially hurt them?
It's a tough question to answer, especially as far as, getting hurt. What we deal with a lot of the time is we have guys that come in who are prior pilots. They fly Cessnas or, they're whatever, they're a pilot already. And those guys are typically the hardest to actually train because, in an airplane, you turn left, you have to even back out to go right. And on a paramotor or a paraglider, we all know that that's not how it works. You're the nut on the end of the string that's flopping around. But I would say that the hardest thing for us is understanding each student and trying to figure out the best way to train that particular student. Because we start with one way that we have found that works for most people. And then sometimes you have to, as instructors, we'll switch between each student. And sometimes one instructor clicks better with another student. And we use that to our advantage. So if I'm working better with so-and-so, because he just understood the way I said it, and Eric might have said it one way, that's who we end up sticking with. So we actually end up switching the entire class, and sometimes I can't get through to one person and Eric can do it perfectly. So it's just our teaching methods, it's great about having a team that can work together.
Are you a yeller or is Eric a yeller?
So actually that's one thing that none of us do. None of us yell.
Just kidding. I'm just joking.
Well, but I'm going to keep my comment about that quiet.
Eric's definitely the yeller. I'll just answer that one right now. If you go to Aviator PPG, get ready because Eric's going to yell at you. Don't screw up.
If you go to Indiana, Matt Massey's got the Bob Ross voice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. More than once he's been told he sounds like Bob Ross.
That's like my instructor. Phil Russman is like, you're fine. You're good. I mean, you could be dying in like a death spiral. He'd be like, pull a little light brakes. Pull some right brake. Pull a little right brake. Yeah, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah,
looks good.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. Just throw the reserve. You're about 50 feet off the ground. Go ahead and throw that.
If you got the other one, you could throw that too.
Hey, there's Josh is in the chat too. I sent these people invites. Okay, never mind. They're just busy. They have life. Yeah.
If I start glitching out again, let me know. I pulled up the chat again so I can see it, but it buffered a little bit, so I'm hoping that I can still see.
Yeah. So, what's the most common thing that guys are coming in to training with that you wish they didn't?
Prior experience in anything to do with flying.
Okay. So you want a clean slate.
I want the clean slate. The best I mean, and obviously some people are able to turn their brain off and become the robot that we need them to be to train them. But honestly, the people that overall, I'm not saying everybody, but overall the best people to train are RC pilots.
What?
Yeah, RC pilots.
Fascinating.
And somebody who's never touched anything that flies ever. They're the dirt bike mechanic or something like that. RC pilots, because when you fly an RC plane, you give it power, it goes power. You give it, right rudder, it uses right rudder. So we tell the students to be a robot or act like a servo on an RC plane. When we tell you to do something, do it. And that's why we find those people are sometimes the best and easiest to train.
Interesting. So speaking of aviation outside of paragliding, have you done any fixed wing stuff, ultralight stuff?
Yeah, so I'm working on my private pilot's license right now.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now. And actually today we flew from the Lake Wales Airport. We flew down to Avon Park to see one of our Alliance schools down there. And then we flew to Valkyria, which is about a 45-minute flight to see who Eric Dufour is.
Yep.
Yeah, we went to see Eric Dufour. Had to drop off a few things. So, yeah, me and Travis and Ron Turan, one of the Alliance affiliates in Texas, we all just took the airplane together and had some fun and did some practice, landed it.
Dude, that is so rad.
Yeah.
And you've got the runway right there in the back.
Oh yeah, no. Today I what did I do today? I only did 2 landings today, but no, it's getting good. It's fun.
Wow. Yeah, that is next on my agenda, by the way. I've got so much stuff going on. Probably in about I'm gonna say now that we're buying a house, it's 2 years from now. I'd like to get my pilot's license. You know who inspired me to do it? Well, besides living next to the airport, was Paul Guschelbauer, because he came from Austria and got it here right down the street from us. So now, who do you call now for? You're wanting I mean, obviously, and let me just make a statement. As far as I'm concerned, you're always a student when it comes to aviation, and
always.
Specifically in paramotoring. Who do you call now? You've been doing it for 5 years. It's almost to the place where you feel like you're teaching, a lot. Who are you calling?
Like when I need something?
Yeah.
Actually, I messaged him today. So he's across the world right now, but forgive me if I butcher his last name, but Theo de Blick.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
if I need, yep. Go ahead.
That's who you did your SIV with?
Yeah. So I never really did a formal SIV. I went straight into acro training when I trained with Javier Malaguita, or Javi Malaguita, as most people know him.
Yeah, Javi.
Yep, I trained with Javi over 2 years ago in Spain, in Organa. And then earlier this year, when I was in Italy, I did another acro course with Theo. And that was kind of my, when I need something, or if I'm asking about, more acro type stuff, if I need guidance and assistance, he's the guy who did a lot of my advanced training. So that's who I'd like to reach out to. And obviously I utilize other people like Manu and David. And those are the 2 guys on the Paradigm team that do the infinites on the motors.
Yeah. Are you almost there or what?
The best way that I can put it is I'm not trying to get there. I'm going to let it get there if it gets there.
That's probably the smartest thing to do. Yeah.
I this week I trained 6 out of the 7 days this week. I flew every morning. And right now all I do is get in the motor, climb up to 4,000 feet, do acro down to about 1,000, and climb back up and do it again.
Nice.
Is that the altitude that you would prefer to do acro at, as far as safety?
So, yeah, my safety threshold is 1,000 feet. I won't. As of right now, it's 1,000 feet, and I like that because it gives me room for error. And I calculated it. I was sitting in backfly at one point for about 20 seconds when I was really first learning, and backfly is totally fine. It's like it's your comfortable position. It is a safe position to be in. And I sat in there for about 20 seconds, and I lost close to 800 feet. So I'm thinking, okay, 1,000 feet, and I like to have that room for air.
Yeah, so, that's smart.
Just to keep it safe.
And you fly with 2 reserves or 1?
I got 2. I got a Beamer on my left-hand side and a Angel 140 on my right-hand side.
Nice. That's great, man.
Yeah, I got to keep it safe.
Yeah, no, it's that's a whole different ball game when you're basically forcing the wing to do stuff that it's not necessarily wanting to do.
No, for sure. It's been a road, man. It's not an easy thing. I'm gonna turn my phone around here. Hopefully, that's better. It's not an easy thing, especially when you start getting into the hard acro. People are, I do acro. Well, if technically acro is more than 90 degrees, but when you misty flips and tumbling and things like that, then it really gets more advanced, and you really have to be careful.
Take us through a story, maybe when you were out of control, and then what you learned from it.
Actually, I mean, technically I was out of control. So about 2 days ago, I was doing some training out back, and yeah, I mean, it was normal. Everything was great, and I did a misty flip, and I did a misty flip to the right, and then instead of what I wanted it to do was do a misty flip in a right heli, but instead I parked it to go to a left heli, so it's a right misty flip, left heli, and I did that, but instead it kicked too fast, and I got a riser twist while I'm in backfly on a paramotor.
Whoa!
So, and it was interesting because the only thing obviously I'm like altitude. Okay, I know I'm good because I just started and I was over 3,000 feet, so I knew I had altitude, and the glider was still actually was in backfly, so I just did what I knew, and I kept it in backfly, and I was like, well, I'm just going to remember what I need to do, and that's keep my hands down, because if I let them up and one goes up, it shoots, and then I get more riser twists, and then I have to throw a reserve. But yeah, I untwisted, kept the backfly, and exited. So honestly, going back to your training and what I was taught to do was to always control that glider. And that's honestly what kept me from getting more riser twists and things going even worse than what they were.
And then did you go up and try it again
Oh, absolutely.
right afterwards and make it right?
No, actually, what happened was it untwisted, and I was in backfly, and I exited. And right after that exit, I didn't even wait. I just went and did it again, and nailed it the second time. So, as long as you keep, that safe altitude, and I got the proper training to do this, which it cost me a lot of money to go to Italy and buy the glider and training and fees and whatever. It costs a lot, but I have not yet once thrown a reserve. So, just in that alone, it's paid off. So,
That's amazing. So 2 SIVs, but I say SIV, you were actually in an acro clinic.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you were right out of the gate, boat pulling you up, or you doing motor?
yeah. So the very first time I went off in Argania, so that's it's more like ridge lift in Argania. So that was just straight free flying. And then Italy was actually the same thing. So there was I've never done behind a boat or anything like that. The only reason I learned free flying was so I could transition it to the paramotor, since here in Florida, there's no free flying really.
Right. Little free flying.
So yeah, and we could do towing, but we're so busy. So I get up in the morning, I go fly paramotor.
Yeah, yeah. Do you run the tow rig?
Yeah, we can all do it. But I'm not gonna lie, Travis is the master when it comes to running that tow machine. He's done it a lot. So he's better than the rest of us at it. But all of us can run the tow machine. We can tow students up, or talk to students for that matter. Because some people do a tow machine, they're controlling the tow machine and they're talking. But what we do is we have one tow operator and one person talking the student up during that first initial tow.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was inspired. Did you
awesome.
see Kyle O'Glee's video, the recent one that he did, some cross country stuff? He was flying like
No, I didn't.
oh bro, it's incredible. Just free flight stuff. If you went
100
across.
miles in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Flat land in Texas. Just finding thermals.
Really? That's a lot of that's a lot to do. Sorry, I'm closing the door. Somebody said fire fire alarm, and I think it's the one in here that keeps going off, the smoke detector.
Oh. Yeah, I keep hearing it. Beep.
Oh,
It's not mine.
Todd.
Yeah, we just sent Todd should be joining us.
There we go.
Yes. So, actually, there was a question. It is from Yankee in SC1. He said Kyle comes from a skydiving background, right? Is that true?
Nope.
No
I
skydiving.
nope. I did one tandem ever, and other than that, nope. I like my paramotor, man. I like free flying. I never came from anything skydiving. As far as aviation goes, I flew my dad's ultralight when I was like 10, and I hated it, and I puked in the back seat.
Whoa, dang.
Yeah, and I never liked aviation until I started flying paramotors, and now I'm just kind of fixed on it.
There's Todd.
Hey, can
What's
you
up,
guys hear me
Todd?
okay?
Yeah,
What's up, man?
What's up?
So you guys got me all right this time?
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. First, real quick, this is for Kyle.
Yes.
I got a whole bunch of this for you. Actually, I have a case that I'm going to bring to Owensboro for you.
Awesome. Oh, you coming to Owensboro for the show?
Yeah, I've got to make that
Sweet.
happen.
Yeah, you do.
So I was listening on the way home. If I can go ahead and jump in here, I was thinking a whole bunch on the drive. I just finished flying.
Get on
takes
in,
about
man.
takes about 45 minutes for me to get from the airport back home. So I listened to it a little bit. A little bit about Kyle from my perspective, because I started training at Aviator in January, finished up in March because I had to split the training up for family reasons and whatnot. But one thing about Kyle is he truly is an unsung hero of the entire PPG community. And it's one of those things that you don't realize it because he doesn't have that charismatic YouTube personality going on. He doesn't have that channel. But when you meet him and you fly with him, you watch him fly. One thing you realize is how talented of a pilot he really is. The dude is absolutely amazing. That in and of itself, he is one of the most underrated individuals within our community because of that. But then from an instructor standpoint, one of the things he was talking about earlier is how they team teach. And from a student standpoint who just went through it earlier this year, it is such a benefit to be going through the training. And Eric, he's not a yeller, but he's
Screamer.
He's a screamer.
But one of the things is, Eric would say something that would kind of click, and then Kyle would come over, he would say something that would kind of click. The interesting thing about Kyle, his personality is he is very straightforward and very blunt. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. He's going to tell you straight up. And my story is, and I think a lot of people realize it or have heard it now, my first launch attempt was absolutely horrific. It made for good training video. I think all of the aviator classes now show me failing.
Look at this guy.
It's funny because I had a horrible first launch attempt. The question is, what is it that guys do wrong when they come in to train? I came in being very well versed on the book knowledge, but I also came from a skydiving background. And so when it came to the practical exercise, I was horrible. And I realized it very quickly that I had a lot of bad habits, and it translated into my first launch attempt. And it was horrific. I'm now a training video aide for the classes. So, but one of the things is I went over to Kyle afterwards, and I was emotionally crushed by it. It was a very tough moment for me because I'd been building up for so long. And I go up to Kyle and I'm like, "What did I do wrong?" And he's like, "You screwed up. That was it. You screwed up. Now go get the motor back on and go try again." But that is something that's very endearing about him. Is he is very, very knowledgeable. He is a fantastic pilot. He's a great instructor, and I'm actually very happy and honored that I've been able to develop a friendship with him. Over the past 8 months.
Didn't you blow up a prop on that?
No, I haven't.
He did not. He didn't break anything. Zero.
I knock on wood. I have had some horrific launches. We'll say I've had more than one fails. even at the recent flight, if you got it, fly in, I was trying to launch in nil wind, wet conditions, and I passed right behind John Ripa as he was launching. And as I'm trying to launch and I go through his wake, my wing kind of went flat. It lost all lift, and I slipped and fell. And it was an ugly slide and fall. But again, I haven't broken any props yet. Those titanium frames on the Nitro, man, you get a rubber mallet, pound that sucker back into shape, and you're good. So I'm a huge fan of him. But I just wanted to jump in and talk about Kyle and let people know from a student perspective, just how good of a pilot and how good of an instructor he really, really is.
Thanks, Todd. Means a lot, man.
It's all good, brother. I got a case of Lemonade Monster for you. A whole case. That's 24 monsters just for you.
Oh,
I just sent Josh an invite.
And they're going to be gone.
Well, I actually have...
And it's awesome, too, especially... What's it? Go ahead, Todd.
I've actually got 2 cases. So I can bring both cases to Owensboro.
Perfect. I'm excited. And that's an awesome thing that we get to do is we get to share this sport with, we met Todd and, obviously right when we met Todd, he's a student. We met Todd. And then now he's, we all hang out. Todd was texting me tonight, actually. He sent me a picture of him flying. And then I sent him a picture of me and Travis on the field tonight because that's who was by me. So it was, it's just a cool thing to be able to share and help each other through their struggles and also through their triumphs. So it's really cool to be able to do that.
Yep.
What are you recommending for books, Kyle?
Honestly, the Paragliding Bible is what it's a great thing for people to read and just to get knowledgeable on it. And I can't 100% recommend this video series yet because I haven't seen it, but I know that the people he works with are amazing. But Paul Tech, sorry if I butchered his name, just put out this amazing acro series. It's on justacro.com, and it basically goes through all of these things because most people, a lot of people want to get into this type of sport, whether it's free flying or paramotoring. The first question they ask is especially if they're younger, my age, they go, "Can I do a barrel roll?" Well, please don't. Learn to fly first. It's really cool that people are looking at that because there's 1,000 instructors out there, and there is no best instructor. The best instructor is the one that's best for you, and that's what I can say. I got really lucky when it came to learning more. But sorry, a little off topic. But as far as book is something that I know you had Jeff on the show. I think last week.
Yeah, Jeff Goen.
Yeah. Awesome dude, and that book is something that that's what I bought when I first learned. And it's hard because you read that book and you have never flown, so you can't really put the pieces together. You're like, I don't know what any of this stuff means. And then as you get better, you learn more, and you can put those together.
So you say read it again after you've flown a few times?
Absolutely. And also,
I need to get that book.
I just got a message from my mother, Todd, and she said Monster is bad for me.
She's right. Monster's absolutely horrible for all of us, but it's good and it's free.
It's Lemonade Monster and it's free.
It's Lemonade Monster and it's free.
They're trying to rope you in.
Yeah, that's okay.
To the addiction of Monster.
I'm still gonna drink it. That's not gonna stop me. Sorry, Mom.
So your mom is watching right now. That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure my mom and dad and sister probably are.
That's awesome. Hey, Mom, Dad, and sister.
That was sweet idea when Mom came out and she had the beer.
At the fly-in, Oshkosh.
Yeah.
I didn't even know his dad was a pilot.
Right.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's John Staples. No, it's pretty awesome to be able to to share it, especially like with my family and all that. I guess the only thing, and I said this actually, it was in the Paradigm little mini documentary that we got made there. And Tucker said, Kyle, how nervous are you? I'm like, about 2, but my mom's watching, so like 10.
Oh, dang it.
And it's funny, I don't get nervous. I could fly in front of those millions of people,
Yeah.
and I'm fine. But if my mom's watching me, I'm like, oh, don't screw up.
Don't screw up. Yeah, you need to hold it to keep it together, Kyle. Come on, man.
I know, I try.
Keep it together. So, what's the next big adventure that you have been wanting to do but haven't been able to do yet?
Oh man, that's a tough question, man. That's a
You
really
got
tough one.
You got more than one?
Well, yeah, I have plenty. But
What's the most
just,
realistic one that you got coming up?
man, even if it's just a dream, I can make it a reality. So I don't look
mean,
at it that way.
You've already done a couple pretty cool things, bro. So, I mean, okay, wait, did you go to the, what is it called? I always screw this up. It's not in Colombia, but it's in,
Costa Rica?
Costa Rica, yeah.
Yeah. So
Did you go with that?
Yeah, I was in Costa Rica like 3 months ago or whatever it was. I don't really know.
Yeah.
3 or 4 months, and then like 2 months before that, I was in Italy. A
Yep.
couple months before that, I was in Poland, and then obviously in the last month we drove around the country and did all of our air shows. Visited the schools, flew in Montana, Colorado. We flew in like 18 states in like 30 days or something. It was crazy. St. Louis Arch, that was an epic show. If you guys haven't seen that video yet, too, it's on the Aviator channel. The St. Louis Arch, that was an amazing place to fly.
That was cool, man.
And it was scary because you look down in the river and there's trees that are like the size of your house and fridges and all sorts of stuff.
In the water.
In the water, yeah. But luckily we had the St. Louis Fire Department there, and the Coast Guard actually was there. So if we had to go in the water, they were there. And actually Todd got to fly there too, so that was pretty cool.
I was going to say, Todd was there too.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience and definitely something I will never forget.
Yeah, I thought for some reason, you guys were just going to send it and go through the arch anyways. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
Not when it comes to the federal government.
What, you think they were going to shoot you down? They're like, there they go. I knew they were going to do it. Take you out.
I got no comment. I don't really want to find out.
You're like, no. At any point, did any of you consider it?
Oh
yes,
yeah, no,
yes, absolutely.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
But before like Eric and Travis went for like, I was like, hey Dorian, because we had the Martin brothers there on the team, and Tucker and David and everybody, and we're like, hey, right when Travis says break to do the break, let's just keep flying straight through. And then we're all like, yeah, so we're not gonna do that, but really tempting.
Dude, I'm surprised Tucker didn't go for it.
Yeah, we all wanted to, but it's honestly, it's hard to even get to fly there. To get the opportunity to even fly there. Like for even for the show, Todd was on the ground actually, talking to the tower for us. It was him and another team member. They were down there helping us, lay out wings, whatever. And he's talking to the tower and all this stuff. So it was, it's a huge effort just to get us 7 people into the sky around this type of area.
Because that's a controlled airspace. That's
it's Class D.
Is it Class D?
I believe it's Class D airspace. Don't quote me, but I'm 99% sure it's Class D.
Interesting. Yeah, so that's super cool. That looked like a blast. So back to the question.
Next adventure, yeah.
Next adventure.
So, honestly, I really want to do. I want to go to Turkey next I don't know how to pronounce the name. Anyway, the giant free fall.
I know where.
There.
Yeah.
That's where I want to go next. I'm hoping to go there next year sometime during maybe a free 2 weeks. I want to go there and do some more acro training.
Free flight acro training.
free flight acro training, and then when I get home, I take it slowly, but I convert it to motor in that time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So, but this year still has plenty of adventures, man. We got a lot left this year.
What wing are you flying these days for acro?
For acro right now, I use the Octane 2 from Ozone.
How you like it?
Honestly, it's awesome. It is amazing. It was the perfect glider to learn all of this stuff on. So it's pretty awesome. But now that I'm getting to the point of, okay, I've got a lot of this stuff mastered, I can, helis and all this type of stuff, I'm getting it all, pretty locked down. It's going to be time to move up soon to something that's more aggressive, that does everything a little bit faster.
Really?
It's more tricky, but it's a little bit faster.
I was going to say the Octane's pretty spicy wing. So
yeah, it's actually rated in my weight range. It's a sea glider, which is awesome. It's the perfect glider to learn acro on. But yeah, no, the next glider is gonna. Unfortunately, right now, I want an ozone glider, just because that's what I've been flying and I love them. But when I initially learned, I learned on an Air G glider. So, we'll wait and see. But yeah, right now it's mainly the Octane 2, and then if I'm not doing acro, if we're just going for a flight, I use the Free Ride 15.
Nice. I love it.
Oh, Brian Richards, I challenged Kyle to a free flight paintball match. All right, well, I did play semi-pro paintball for 2 years, so okay, I'm down.
You did? You played on a team?
Yeah, we played national level competitions.
Really?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was about 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
That we did that.
I've done some paintballing, but I never got on any teams.
Brian Rich, Aerosol. Yep, that's what I played for. That's funny.
Interesting.
So here's the question: if you shoot the prop on a paramotor and it splatters the paint everywhere, does that count like a grenade?
No, we don't use grenades. I never played in the woods, man. We were the giant adults playing around the balloon festival, where you got all the blow up bunkers. That's what we called it. A bunch of grown dudes running around shooting each other with balloons around everywhere.
Speedball. That's what it was. No, it was a good time. But no, man, flying is pretty much taken over my life. Like this year, we got Owensboro left. We got Indy Airhawks fly in. Then I get married. Then I go to Bali for like 12 days or whatever it is. And then we got Vegas. And then we got to fly in here. Wait, hold on. Did you say
crazy.
Bali?
Yeah, Bali, like Indonesia.
Right. So Bali's just for your honeymoon, right?
Yeah, that's like the honeymoon. We wanted to go there. So we're like, but I have friends there that have gear. So I'm hoping I get to fly in Bali.
Don't tell her that.
Oh, she already knows. I already said I have one day on my honeymoon. It's our honeymoon, so I want one day where I can go fly. You're
already in the doghouse.
Yeah, it's all right. She lets me fly. I was gone for a month last month, and she was. It's tough, yeah, but that's why we're good. So it's awesome.
There's still hope for you to get that motor, Robert.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, right.
My wife was just in here a second ago. I thought I was in trouble.
Just buy one and say you can't return it. Be like, oh, sorry, honey, I don't know what to do. They won't let me.
I have so many funny things that just pop into my head to say right now, but I'm not going to say any of them because I think she's still in here.
Yeah, she's actually standing at the door just listening to you. Oh,
I'm clear.
Yep.
So that was my son.
I was gonna say he knows what's up.
Yeah, he knows what's up. He's got my back. He wants to fly so bad too. So we're trying to get him under a wing. He's done it. Sure. Yeah, he's done tandem, but it's hard to get this a small enough wing for him right now. He's right at the edge of being on a small,
Yeah, so. No, that's true.
Robert, that last video where the student flew the brand new Universal 1.1, he got that top 80 and it shipped from somewhere around San Diego.
Are you serious? Yeah, I missed out on that?
Like, sweet. Like, very, very clean.
Dang I wonder if it was, did Chad Bastion sell it to him? Because I know Chad's in that area.
I I don't know who
And
he got
it's
it from. I'll have to find out from Dustin, the guy. But it is.
Oh, okay.
I was impressed. It was like perfect size, plenty of power. But yeah, he got it right off the West Coast and shipped right here. He had a video to put it all together and everything.
That's awesome.
It was cool.
Very interesting. Let me just give you a quick commercial break. Go to paraglidingtalk.com. Check out what's happening with the upcoming shows. Next week, we're going to do a speed flying show with Rich Kennedy from Saboba. You're not going to want to miss that one. It's going to be fun. Also want to encourage you to go to the Patreon, support the show financially. We're going to keep this thing rolling and keep it fun. And I came up with some ideas for some T-shirts. Be watching for those. That's going to be fun. The T-shirts, I'm going to use them as giveaway stuff. And then also, anyways, it'll be fun. We'll do it, advertising stuff. And that's pretty much it. So if you can do that, do those two things. And then also, I was going to mention this in the last show. One thing that Neil does, Neil is Perspective. He has he's been moderating with the show for some time now. And what he started doing is posting. He created a website, or he created a Facebook page. That's what it is. And so he promotes the show on Facebook. I want to encourage everybody, if you can, promote the show, put it on Facebook, put it on whatever your social media is so that we can take it to the next level. And I don't even know realistically, like, I'm not doing this for the money. It's just for fun. And I love the fact, like, I'm looking in the chat and I'm seeing people that I watch their videos. And I just love, like, Fly Swamper's on there right now. I love watching his videos. Jeff Dean just logged in. Jeff Dean has some great videos. I'm Yankee and SC1 there. And most of you guys that are, that have been a part of the show from the beginning, it was just this all just kind of came together. And so I want to take it to the next level and just let it blow up. I think it'll be super fun and super cool. And it's a community, you know, and it's fun. And there's a couple weirdos out there, and we don't have to say any names, but for the most part, we're like a family. You know what I mean? And so I just want to build it up, and I want to try to do something that can benefit everyone. I mean, it's like Todd with Resurgence PPG. He has a vision, and he wants to get people up in the air. And you know, you're not always going to get everything that you necessarily need to learn from a week or 2 week training session with instruction, and you're not always going to absorb everything. So I wanted to create a place where we can come every Thursday night, and this is an open platform. I mean, we're live right now. If you have questions you want to ask away, and we'll put this stuff out there. And even if you're a brand new person or you've been flying for 20 years, this is a place for you. So Paragliding Talks for that. And anyways, that's my spiel. So the I want to open up right here, speaking of comments and questions, and then because I want to ask if there's anybody, if you have anything for Kyle Mooney you want to ask about, maybe it's acro, or you have questions for him, please ask them. Man, it is stinking hot in here.
I was just thinking the same thing, man.
It's like
But I live
100
in
degrees in
Florida,
here.
so it's warm.
Yeah, it's probably the same. It's probably the same temperature. What is it outside over there? It's like in the 80s.
Right now it's probably like 85 and about 90% humidity.
Yeah, I don't think we're that hot, but it's pretty bad. Hey, by the way, not to take anything away from the Kyle Mooney show, but
No,
Mark Amenson had created a video where a guy flies. Listen, Mark, I think it's awesome, man. I don't have any problem with getting a guy off the ground. The guy was already doing his homework. Don't try to hide. He's already trying to hide. No, I was. Did you see your comments? I was defending you in the comments, and I wanted to bring this live. And there was a guy on there. I don't remember his name, but he was one of Dell's students, and he got mad at me for trolling Dell and blah blah blah. But I was gonna say the guy. It wasn't like you just called some guy off the street like, "Hey, come over here. Check this out. This is called a paramotor. In the next 4 hours, I'm going to get you off the ground. I'm going to teach you how to." The guy had already been
That's
wanting
exactly
to
happen. That's No, this was funny. Dustin, I'll give you the really brief rundown here. He called one day. He goes, he was just really straight to the point. He's like, "Look, I see you fly. I really want to go flying." And I was like, is equally straight back to the point. I go, "I'm going in 15 minutes. Meet me at this park." And that was it. And we met up, and I went flying. I landed, and I just was like, "That's paramotoring." And he's like, "Cool, I'm doing it." I was like, "Okay." And that was kind of our first hangout. The next thing was we just talked a little bit, and he goes, "All right, I bought a motor. It's shipping here, and I got a wing from Ryan Shaw, I think it was. He got a Dudek Universal, brand new." He's like, "I got the stuff, so I'm just gonna kite and practice, and I don't want to get full training." He goes, "Would you just be able to let me come out to your airfield and just do hourly?" And I said, "I'll treat it exactly the same way. We'll look at your gear. We'll go over it." I mean, his gear was in great shape. We did the hang test. We adjusted it. And we just went through each one of the things like right off a syllabus. And we had perfect conditions. And I wasn't saying, "Look, dude, you're going to fly tonight," or "You can fly in under 20 hours. I turned to him, and it was on the video, and I just said, "So how are you feeling? You going to fly?" And, just asking casually. And he goes, "Yeah." I mean, he had done everything. And this is like where I understand like controversy comes in. Like he could repetitively do that on the ground in Wisconsin in no wind and just get beat up and sweat and get tired and then come out and wait for another day when it was windy and kite and kite and kite and kite. But he had the kiting harness on. He was doing forward launches all the way across the field. On like his third one, he did it. He probably did another 10 after that, getting the wing up, checking the wing overhead, just looking over to the wingtip, kiting it all the way across the field, and you could tell that he had good control by both feel and just understanding what he watched the ground handling aviator video. I tell every single person before they get any gear, watch that hour and a half video over and over. Then the first time you put your gear on, it'll actually make sense to what you're doing. So a huge shout out to the aviator ground handling video crew, and I think Kyle, you helped put that together.
Yeah, that was an
really
awesome video.
Helpful for everybody, and it's not a training substitute, but it was his time. It wasn't me saying, "You have my permission. I'm not his parent," or anything like that. He pretty much knew that he had the right gear, the right day, and the basic skills to get off the ground. So yeah, Dell all day long. Dell was like beating me up, and I would just go back at him like, "Dell, one day I'm going to be better than you. You should not be waiting. You should be practicing right now because I will be."
You should be practicing right now.
The introductory scene to Apocalypse Now, when Martin Sheen is talking, he's like, "Every day Charlie squats in the bush. He's getting stronger, and I'm getting weaker." I always talk to Dell like that. Like, "Dell, I'm getting stronger. You need to get outside and practice right now and get off your keyboard."
Gosh, man.
So that's my approach. That's the whole story to it. It was literally like 4 hours. He wants to come back out and continue doing training, and but he's a friend. I mean, now I'm not going to charge him any money. Like,
yeah,
we hit it off. He had the same upbringing as me. Raced some four-wheelers. Likes to go out and do the fun stuff. And I've always said in the past, I would never want to train anybody. If my best friend bought gear, I'm not going to take money from them. I'm going to teach them every single thing I know, and hope that they pick it up and learn as much as possible. But if we were the only two people around and there was nowhere else to train, I would feel very confident in being able to get them off the ground safely. And that's really the way. I don't intend to open some big school, but there's just people in the area that want to learn how to fly. And fortunately, I have a beautiful airfield to use, and I teach.
That's another aviator spot, future aviator spot. Mooney, are you writing this down?
Write it
We
down.
have like 7 months of winter, so we don't have. I mean, we're like the guys in Michigan. It's half the time it's snow on the ground. So
right, right across the street from Michigan.
Right across the lake.
Well, it's a street during the winter.
True.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's.
So I did see a. Let's see here. I did see a question. Somebody asked, "Too much thrust, can you stall?" So.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes, you can.
It's like when you're there?
It's tough though. If a motor puts out 100 and say 70 pounds of thrust, and say I weigh 130 pounds, and if my motor weighs 30 pounds, it's only 160. So in theory, that motor could hover me off of the ground. And generally, you can't just get it from pinning it and then climbing. But what you can do is if you were to give it full power, release, and then get that little surge downwards, so the glider's going towards the ground a little bit and then go full power, you can stall it. I can get close, but obviously you don't ever want to do that, because if you stall while you're on power, that's bad. But yeah, no, I know that it can happen, and really the things have to line up really incorrectly for that to happen. But yeah, don't do that.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, the Tornado puts out a little. I know it was over 170 on the thrust table when we did it. I weigh 130 pounds. My motor fully loaded, full acro setup anyway, with lights, smoke, and all that, weighs about 65, I think. That's gas, smoke system, lights, 2 reserves.
Wow,
So yeah, I'm
dude,
close.
you can, like you said, you could turn it like just face down to the ground and then go full power and just sit on it, levitate.
Pretty close, yeah. Yeah, I can't have much more power. I mean,
Yeah,
I want more, but I can't have much more.
Waiting for full throttle infinity tumbles.
Yeah, full power
Yeah.
I wanna
infinity
see, man.
Right?
going
There's
up.
been a few times I can get pretty vertical when we do that. You can't get quite 180 right over the top, or 90 degrees, I'm sorry, over the top, but you can get pretty much almost vertical. You just get a little bit sideways, and you can go right over the top of the glider with that power.
You're flying the what?
I'm flying
Yeah.
a Tornado 280.
Tornado. So it's
Yeah.
Is it 280? You're talking about 280 cc's?
Yeah, so
Oh my word.
yeah, and we have the Nitro, which is a Nitro 200, and then the Tornado, which is a 280.
Wow.
So yeah,
That is a lot of cc's. So I mean, like
yeah, it's great.
the starting one seems like everybody's flying the 125 out of the gate. Like that's a standard, right? And then you got the Moster 180 or 185.
No, so actually, when we do it, like when we have students, 99% of our students leave and they buy a Nitro 200. Todd has got a Nitro. Many people fly the Nitro 200. It is a perfect motor to have a good amount of thrust. It's super lightweight. It's very durable. That's honestly, if I was to start flying again and I knew about the Nitro, that's what I would buy.
Sorry, my wife just interjected. Is it somebody we know?
Fire.
Who's?
No one knows yet. They haven't told people who they are.
Oh my gosh.
But there was an 8-car pileup.
On the 805?
On the 805 northbound, two cars caught on fire and slid across the freeway, causing
Whoa.
6 other cars to crash into them. They all got sent to the hospital, and they shut down the 805.
Wow.
Like, they can't get off. So it's pretty.
The 805
crazy.
is closed if you're in San Diego.
Wow,
2 cars crashed and burst into flames.
No, 8
that's
cars.
crazy, man.
8 cars caught on fire?
8 cars.
No, 2 cars.
Yeah.
caught
That's
on
what I
fire.
said. 2 cars caught on fire, 8
8
cars
cars
crashed.
were involved.
Wow.
18 people got sent to the hospital, and 3 people died.
Holy smokes.
And they're still
Something
in
tells me
about
that'll be on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Breaking news. My
Here's a
wife comes
question.
in.
Here's a question for Kyle. Have you ever thought about the Icarus race or
Yeah,
plan on
I was
competing?
actually just reading in those comments actually. So there's a running joke about Kyle and flying cross countries. And
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kyle does not do cross countries. Kyle does what we call Kyle cross countries. And that basically is if you can take off and fly to about 200 feet and look around, if you can see it, that's as far as I've been.
Yeah. So part of the joke, Kyle was talking earlier that while we were out at St. Louis, I was on the ground talking to the tower, making sure we were coordinating with the tower and whatnot. So the team launches, they go and they fly to the arch. And it was maybe a 3-mile flight from the airport to the arch, straight line distance. And so it's 3 miles there. They fly the routine 3 miles back. So as Kyle's coming back, I got on the radio and congratulated him and the entire team because that was a new record for the longest cross country that Kyle has flown on. So it's just because Kyle goes up and he rips it up for about 15, 20 minutes, and he does it right over the airport, and he comes back down. But he doesn't go a long way.
No, I normally do further vertically than I do horizontally along. Could I do the Icarus? Yeah, I definitely have like thought about it, and I would like to do it. But honestly, at the end of the day, I enjoy aerobatics. That's what I enjoy the most. That's what I like to put my effort towards. I hate sitting on speed bar going in a line. But at the end of the day, it's still a fun thing to do. And, you know, in the last couple months, I have gone further as far as, you know, cross country goes. But no, for me, I personally, I don't think I'll ever do the Icarus. I would rather devote my time and everything to doing what I like, and that's aerobatics.
Who's better at acro, you or Tucker got? These questions, they just come to me. They just do.
No, they come to you. Tucker, I love
you,
you, man, but you haven't done a heli yet.
Oh, dang, he hasn't done a heli? I've never seen it in his videos, anyways.
I was questioning whether Tucker was right next to him because the way he looked over, like,
no, because he knows Tucker's watching.
Funny though. That would have been funny though.
Tucker is watching.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Kyle and Tucker, they're actually a mere pair on the Paradigm team.
Yeah.
So they're like they're wingmen together. So I mean, it's kind of hard to put Kyle in the spot like that.
Oh, I love it. That's what I do.
It's awesome. We all learn from each other. But as far as like aerobatics and stuff, you know, obviously I went overseas and I learned how to. I did a lot of that training and stuff like that. But I will tell you that not one pilot on the Paradigm team is the best pilot. You know, there's things that I excel at that Tucker doesn't. There's a lot of things that Tucker excels at that the rest of us don't. There is no one best pilot. So if anybody's ever says, "Oh, he's the best pilot in the room," well, that's actually false because there's always somebody in the room that is better at something than
what's the dude's? Wait, what's the dude that does the infinite tumble?
That's Manu and David Malagita. Oh,
two guys.
Yeah, so they're brothers, and it depends on which one's available is the one that we bring over.
So Manu and who?
David.
And David. Manu and David. They're both better than you.
Yes.
You know, that reminds me a lot of like flying quad kites, things called revolutions. You're only as strong as your weakest flyer as far as doing synchronized flying with kites.
Oh, yeah,
well,
absolutely.
You're doing it with gliders instead, but yeah, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, no, it's truly awesome, you know, and we all learn from each other. So it's really cool to be able to learn from each other like that. And none of the pilots on the team go, "I'm better than you," or "I'm better than you." We all learn from each other. If somebody screws up, yeah, we'll pick on each other. But at the end of the day, we want to make each other better to make for a better show. And then
by the way, you guys are rad. Your shows are awesome. It's super cool. Everybody wants to do that. Everybody wants. Yeah, you guys have incredible skills.
If nobody's seen you know, I know some of you probably have seen it, but if you haven't seen the documentary, the Paradigm documentary, it's actually on the Aviator YouTube channel now. It's free now. It used to be on Amazon, but I think it still is. You could purchase it if you want to make a donation, but instead, actually donate it to Todd's Resurgence.
There you go.
And, God bless you, man.
Yeah. Man. By the way, since you're on, we need to put a plug in for that too. Resurgence PPG. What is the website again? Is it resurgencepppg.com? Go check that out. What Todd has is an organization getting military guys that suffer from PTSD and other things. It doesn't necessarily just mean that, but it's our former military guys or active duty even, I think you guys are working to help these guys get off the ground. And so they'll sponsor a guy, put him through training, get him gear, get him up in the air. And maybe, Todd, if you'll fill in those blanks for me.
Yeah, it's exactly
all the things that you do.
So our focus is scholarships and tuition support for disabled and adaptive vets. What that includes is we pay the tuition for their school, we pay travel, we pay lodging, and we pay a per diem for them. So it's a zero cost experience. And we use the Aviator PPG model for all of our budgeting purposes. So we're looking at a 15-day program. A lot of instructors in some schools are able to train in a shorter period of time. But from our standpoint, we do 15 days. And we actually have our next candidate is starting Monday with Josh Bowden at Nebraska Paramotor. So we got him starting Monday. I'm lucky I'm going to head out to Nebraska, go link up with those guys. Then after I hang out with them for a few days in Nebraska, I'm actually heading to El Paso to hang out with Anthony Vela, who he just completed his training with Ron Torin at Lone Star Paramotor not too long ago, who is also an alliance partner.
He's actually here right now, Todd.
Yeah. I saw some of the pictures with him sitting in the classroom and whatnot. But so I'm going to El Paso to link up with Anthony, and unfortunately, we weren't able to sponsor him. He had been in the nomination process with Resurgence, and I had to send him an email. I'm like, I don't have the money to support all the candidates that we have. Fortunately for Anthony, he had the money and he was able to pay his own way. But I've been able to build a relationship with him, via Facebook and whatnot. So I'm actually going to go out to El Paso and hang out with him for a couple days. But that's kind of our big thing, and that's kind of what we're trying to push is getting those disabled vets and those adaptive veterans into this sport, because I think we all realize the transformative and rehabilitative aspect that this sport has to offer. Yeah.
Incredible what you're doing over there, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your service as well as all the guys that are watching that are former military or active duty. Really appreciate you. Want you to know that we pray for you we have our church service, every service. We pray for our military, especially our guys that are underway and separated by deployment. A lot of, these guys are out there putting their life on the line every single day. We get up, we just kind of go through our business, go to work, do our thing, and we don't even think about what's happening around the world. And the freedom that you have has been paid by blood.
All those guys that are deployed right now, they're sitting there thinking that, it's almost as exciting as Kyle and his semi-pro paintball.
Thanks, Todd.
As you were telling stories, I was thinking, my time in Baghdad, during the surge, it was kind of the same thing,
less blow up bunkers.
Yeah, real hand grenades, real Apaches flying overhead, those kind of. That's all fun.
A paintball. Yeah, right.
A little bit.
I was just actually reading. I was going through these comments, just reading a bunch of these. I saw Carl, Colorado. What's my favorite prop? The one that puts out the most thrust. I don't really care. Though if it's an E-prop, that's better. The Peshka or the Helix or whatever.
Well, this is news to me. There's actually different props.
More. There's different brands. There's different pitches. There's different lengths.
That makes
currently,
sense.
I use a 130 centimeter 3-blade E-prop on my Tornado.
Interesting.
It's a very expensive prop because it's a 3-blade, so it's naturally going to be more expensive. But that's what I use right now, and that's what I like because that's what I'm using. The next prop I put on there, I'll probably like that one too.
Did you see the question from John Staples?
Yeah, I'm still scrolling down here. Let's see here.
He said, what is the fuel burn like on the Tornado?
Oh, yeah. So, you know what? You won't be able to see me, but I have a note written down, I think. I think what it was it was it was roughly 5 liters, and that was at 5,000 RPM, and I think it lasted for like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It definitely burns more than the Nitro does. So if you're looking for a pure cross country machine, the Tornado's not going to be it. The Tornado is for those guys who are, 240 plus, or experienced pilots. If I wasn't an experienced pilot, I would not fly that thing. But
Too much power.
I've flown a lot. Yeah, too much power.
What's a
Definitely too much
drawback
power.
with having too much power?
You can stall obviously, but if you're using that power and you don't know how to utilize it, you can get a lot of trouble real quick. So if you're, say, I'm holding full power and I'm doing a wing over, if you hold that full power, you'll lose more altitude, and then when you come back up, you'll swing more, which can cause a stall or a spin, things like that.
What
Just having
about
too much power?
I mean, even with a smaller motor, you could make that same mistake, right? It's just
Having the
exaggerated.
extra power, having the extra power is easier to do that with, and also it's, extra power. Since the motor's newer, it's more expensive, and the 3-blade props. So, for example, a 2-blade prop, a standard 2-blade is about $425. A 3-blade is well over $700. So if you break a 2-blade, okay, it sucks. You break a 3-blade, it really sucks.
Yeesh.
So it goes back and
700?
forth. Yeah, no, they're
Have you broke any?
I had to repair mine yesterday.
Oh, dang.
Yep.
So
It happens.
Did you just go on the shelf and be like, I need to borrow this?
No, I like my job, so I don't. No,
You're like, it is for my job.
It.
What?
Yeah,
what?
right. No, I just repaired it.
It's fiberglass, right?
No, it's actually carbon fiber.
That's what I meant. Carbon fiber.
Yeah, but yeah. No, it's just carbon fiber. It took me about an hour, and it's good to go. And I flew it again. Let's
Dope.
see. Room for speed bar and acro at some point. Fair
Oh,
question.
no.
So yes, I know people use speed bar mainly to go into the box, which the box is actually the area that you perform your aerobatics in. So they use it to get there quicker. But as far as using it in aerobatics, aside from doing the up and over each other, I don't even know if they use it for that, to be honest. But yeah, nothing there. And then sponsorship for Paradigm, I would love that. And so would anybody else who's on Paradigm. Everybody would love that. If Andrew Everett's asked any news on sponsorship for Paradigm. So, as many people know and many people don't know, this year we were the only unsponsored air show act at Oshkosh.
What?
Yep.
No
we have
way, man.
All of the money is is out of pocket, and that that's going. We get millions and millions and millions of people seeing that what we do, and we don't have a sponsor right now, so that's unfortunate, but we're still able to do what we love. And
Wow.
it's just gonna take the right person to see what we do and see the vision that we have and see the difference that we can make to do that. So
I wish I'd have
appreciate
known
question,
that.
though.
I would have made some paraglidingtalk.com shirts and sent $100. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. We it's just one of those things. It's to do a Paradigm show is very expensive with bringing in people, airfare, plus we got to be away from work. So, we're losing money from being away from work, plus we're spending money to get people there, plus buying gear, just food in general. That adds up too. It's
going to happen. It's going to happen. Watch. You guys are going to get one of those big baller ones, like a BMW or something big.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It'd be a cool one. It'll happen.
Pitch it to Tesla.
Tesla.
Yeah, right? That'd be awesome. I'll just send an email to Elon Musk.
Yeah, they'll do it if you have like an electric paramotor. Be like, this is brought to you by Tesla.
Well, if he makes us one, that'd be awesome. I'd fly that. That'd be sweet.
Somebody needs to make that happen.
I know it.
Somebody needs to make that happen.
Pylon racing. Carl, Colorado asked another one. Yeah, Pylon racing is something that I've really actually thought about. Only downside is it's very dangerous, especially if you're doing it not over water. I know that they've changed a lot of the rules for international competition as far as racing, because when they're racing over ground, if you, I think it was in 2015 or 2016, they were racing, I think it was in Poland, and a pilot came over, hit a pylon, and he actually died. He passed away.
Whoa.
So, you know, they changed it over water, and water is, it's still not as, it's not nearly as bad as hitting the ground, but at the end of the day, man, I like being up high, spinning that glider in circles. That's my favorite. And yes, Fly Swamper, foot dragging is, I have a lot of pairs of shoes in my office. Shoes everywhere, because they're all foot dragging shoes.
Foot dragging shoes. Who was
Absolutely.
that? Somebody posted a picture of their shoes. I think it was Gott, and he had like a worn out his right foot.
Yep, mine's my left.
That's hilarious. You got to switch your feet.
Yeah.
You got to wear them out equally.
So basically, you've got two shoes, and one of them has a drag hole in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see these right here? These are my Solomons. One has epoxy on it, and the other one doesn't, because I use this one to foot drag.
Oh, wow.
Can you get that stuff on the bottom of the shoes so it like shoots sparks off? So when you go down the runway, it's got those big old grinds.
Yeah, you just actually get magnesium plates, and that works well.
It's a good idea.
Or those shoes where the heel touches and the wheel pops out.
Oh yeah, the Heelys. I had a pair of those when I was a kid. I got in trouble with those.
Okay, guys, we're at that 7 o'clock mark. Really appreciate you coming on the show, Kyle. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna have an after show, but we're gonna cut it off here. Again, please go support Resurgence PPG. If you're a big money person and you're into advertising, look into advertising with Aviator PPG. They have a great platform, and it's wide open right now. So you guys could probably work something out. And
ParadigmAerobatics.com.
Paradigm. I need to put that in the
ParadigmAerobatics.com, and then obviously the Aviator Show YouTube channel, or contact us, man. Anybody can call us, shoot us an email. You know, whatever. We're always here to serve, and just making the sport better for everybody.
It's a huge opportunity too for advertisers, because that show really catches people's attention. So that is an excellent. Thank you everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys supporting the show. We had another. I feel like the show is growing very quickly. There were 60 people watching as we speak. And so next week, don't miss next show. That's going to be a fun one. We're going to do speed flying, and then the following show, we're going to do another episode 2 with Jeff Goen. We couldn't squeeze him for enough information. And I think Phil Russman's going to join that one as well. So that'll be a great time. And thanks everybody. Really appreciate you. See you on the next one. And again, thanks for the moderators, everybody who's helping out. Sean, Neil, you guys are awesome. And we will catch you on the next one. So we'll have a short after show. Don't hang up. See you guys. Have a great night.
See you guys.